Hello everyone, my name's Amit Panchal and I'm going to talk a bit about Career Disruption 101, teaching you how to develop your career, how to essentially disrupt your career and make a difference. So one of the sayings that I like a lot here is about change, the need for constant change, the need to develop oneself and the need to grow. So if we don't do these vital things and change our lives, change our technology skill set and our professional skills, we're never going to grow as individuals. And a lot of us have become comfortable over the years in the role we do, and we don't seek to branch out. But I think change is very important. It's this key thing to embrace. If you look at this slide now, you see various brands, car brands in this case, but there's something striking here that you should realize. Obviously being from the Far Eastern market, which you can see at first glance, but the key thing here is they all represent a certain standard, right? Just as our careers represent a standard to us, these car brands represent a standard, a reliability, made to high standards. But that's not the end of the story. If we look at the next lot of car brands, we notice luxury, premium, high class quality and build, and all these attributes make up your career essentially. What you have to think about is developing these skills for yourself, making yourself premium, making yourself unique, making yourself wanted, and ultimately being a luxury item. Even if you're sysadmin, network admin, whatever role you are, you want to stand out as an individual and make sure that you're selling yourself to your full potential. So this is what you really need to do, is concentrate on the branding message when it comes to your career. Just looking at all these different brands here, you see they represent something to each and every one of you. When you look at these brands, you notice that some have that premium quality, some have the enterprise quality, and they all have various attributes that should also show you that you need to try and match them for your career development as well. Obviously, there's a mixture of companies I've highlighted here, from small startups to big enterprises, but they all have some sort of core value. And this is what I'm preaching here, is really to make yourself valuable and teaching yourself to really market your value out to your audience. Your brand is essentially what makes up your career potential. So gone are the days of having a job for like 10, 15 years and being settled in that job and not moving on from that. You need to really enhance your brand with values, with core competencies, with unique traits that enable you to accelerate your career path forward. And for me, it's very much about the vision and where you want to go and building that brand. And that's something that I always try and do myself, and I encourage you all to try and do in the future. So we move on to, how are you going to make yourself stand out? How are you going to be relevant? Obviously, a row of pencils, there's that one pencil that's going to stand out and it's going to strike someone else as, oh, okay, I want to talk to that individual. I want to converse with him. I want to have a relationship with him or her. So how do you go about doing this? So the key thing here is a recruiter doesn't spend long on your CV or resume. Approximately 5 to 7 seconds is what we're seeing in the industry. So you want to tailor your brand to be reflective of what you've written on paper. The key thing here is that you want to really prepare an effective CV or resume. You want to make sure you highlight your core attributes, what you've done differently, what makes you different from the next person that's coming into a room. So always make sure that your key qualities that are different to most of the other marketplace, you want to put that on your CV and really highlight that and make that bold. So how can you start to make inroads on this career progression and development? Well, it's all about hacking your life to accelerate your growth. As you can see from the curve here, it's about developing new skills. It's about moving on from your objectives and each plateau and making sure you're not afraid. Don't be afraid of making the wrong decisions. Always move forward and be an optimist. Staying in your comfort zone is something that we all want to do because we know we're happy in that place. But I've learned breaking out of the comfort zone is really key. So you can make sure greatness happens to you as well by exploring this avenue. So how do you go about building your brand and showing your value to the marketplace? Well, there's a number of ways here. I've highlighted a few. So social media is a very key component. Get out there, talk about what you're interested in, your passions. Community forums, another great place to share your ideas, share your knowledge. Blogs, again, writing about your experiences, another great place. VMugs and presentations, doing vBrownbag and other community presentations really gets your brand out there and resonates with a lot of individuals who you never probably thought that they'd be interested in your conversations. Reading, a very important aspect of career development, constantly finding ways to either consume technology, business, in the variety of podcasts, audio books, or even normal paper books, but also podcasts. I've highlighted a few here. The Geek Whisperers podcast, a great one to follow development and how careers go over time, and also Open Tech Cast. But it's all about building your unique brand. That's really what you're striving to do to make sure that you can move forward with your career. In summary, start building and enhancing your career from today. Look at the components I've touched on in this presentation and start to do that, make inroads and do things differently that you would have done yesterday. Don't look back, keep going forward, as I mentioned earlier. But if you make that wrong turn, it's not a disaster. Look back, be reflective, and make progress. Be future looking, be an optimist. I'm Amit Panchal. You can find me on Twitter at AmitPanchal76 and I also blog at apanchal.com. Thank you very much.